In this video, I'm testing out brisket rubs from two of the top barbecue restaurants in the world. How do they compare to each other, and are they worth using on your own brisket? That's what we're going to find out in this video, so let's get smoking. Goldee's Barbecue currently holds the title of #1 barbecue joint in the Texas Monthly Top 50, and they put out a brisket rub like the one they use on their own briskets. Johnny White, aka Jerby of Goldee's Barbecue, says it's the rub he and his team wish they had when they were starting backyard barbecue years ago, so I'm excited to try it out. Its main ingredient is salt, and I noticed it has a mix of table salt and flake salt, which is very interesting. It also has undisclosed spices, sugar, dehydrated garlic and onion, cornstarch, probably for anti-caking purposes. It's got paprika and turmeric, probably for color, I'm assuming, and it has spice extracts. It tastes very much like a salt, pepper, garlic, or SPG rub, and it's very Texas style in flavor. Moving on to the Franklin's rub. This is the rub Aaron Franklin said he uses on his briskets in an interview with Daniel Vaughn in Texas Monthly. It has salt, garlic, onion, sugar, paprika, undisclosed spices, which probably includes celery seed because I can taste it, and mushroom and tomato powder. It tastes like a more flavorful but less salty version of Lawry's seasoned salt. It's kind of less salty than Lawry's and has more of a sugary taste and some extra umami and citrus flavor from the tomato and mushroom powder, but it still has the same Lawry's flavor profile with heavy emphasis on onion powder, garlic powder, and celery seed, which is hidden under spices on the label, but if you smell it or taste it, you're definitely going to taste the celery seed. For this video, I'm smoking 2 briskets to test out these rubs. On the Franklin brisket, I'm laying down some coarse ground pepper as the first layer because the Franklin's rub doesn't have any in it. I suspect that what they do at Franklin's is they layer down some salt and then a layer of pepper, and then they do a final layer of this barbecue spice rub because the rub by itself isn't really salty or peppery enough, and it definitely doesn't taste like the brisket that I tasted when I was at Franklin Barbecue last year. Franklin Barbecue does have a brisket rub, which is just straight S&P, and I've tried it, and it's very good. So if you're going to buy this rub, I highly suggest you get both of them together so you can lay down some of the brisket rub first, which is just S&P, and then a layer of this barbecue spice rub. Unfortunately, I didn't add extra salt to this brisket because I thought the rub would have enough salt in it, but more on that later. For the Goldee's brisket, all I'm doing is laying down some of the rub all over the brisket, no extra salt or pepper or anything like that, because I think the Goldee's rub has more than enough of it already. After dry brining in the fridge for 2 days, I'm lighting up my offset smoker. For briskets, I like to run 225 to 250 until the stall, and then I ramp up to 275 to 300 until they hit 190 degrees internal. Once the briskets hit 190, I'm taking a look at them and the bark has developed nicely, so I'm pulling them out and wrapping them in butcher paper soaked with tallow. Then they get wrapped in aluminum foil with half a cup of water added, and finally I'm placing them in my sous vide holding chest to hold at a steady 150 Fahrenheit for 15 hours. Now for this taste test, I'm going to eat enough brisket to make me fall asleep, but luckily I have a new mattress waiting for me from the sponsor of this video, Helix Sleep. Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs and conveniently shipped right to your door, which is great for me because as a dad with a 2-year-old boy, sleep and convenience are 2 things that are very important to me. But my dad bod is different than other bods, and Helix Sleep knows that, so I took their sleep quiz that matched my body type and sleep preferences to a mattress that's perfect for me, and less importantly, my wife. If you do sleep with a partner, you can take the quiz together and it'll recommend something that works for both of you, but luckily me and my wife both like the same type of mattress, which is a firm mattress. Based on my results, it matched me with the Twilight Luxe mattress, which is a firmer mattress. Personally, I'm a side or stomach sleeper, so I like a super firm mattress, but I also like to lay on my back doom scrolling for an hour before I go to sleep, and it's comfortable for that as well. I also personalize my mattress even more by adding the Glaciotex cooling cover to keep me cool during those hot summer months, or really just any time, because I run hot and sweat like a stalling brisket at night. I've had my Helix mattress for about a month now, and I'm getting great sleeps. The firmness of the mattress is perfect, it keeps me cool, and it's still soft enough to be super comfortable. And best of all, with Helix Sleep, you get a 100-night sleep trial along with a 10-year warranty, and there's also financing options and flexible payment plans. So it's super easy to buy, and if you don't like it during the trial period, you can just get a refund and they'll come pick it up from you. They deliver the mattress right to your door for free within the US, and it comes rolled up in a box, so you can even set it up by yourself, which I did, and it was super easy. I just opened up the plastic wrap and it inflated to full size in a few minutes. So if you're looking for a new bed, check out Helix. It's an excellent mattress that's easy to order, convenient to set up, and risk-free if you don't like it. You can click the link below to get 20% off your Helix mattress, plus you'll get 2 free pillows with your order. Okay, the first brisket I'm going to try is the Franklin's brisket. This is the brisket with the Franklin rub applied. It's been dry brined for 48 hours. It's been cooked to perfection. And the reason it's already sliced is because I used this for another video as well. So let's give this a taste. Very savory, very umami flavors. You can definitely taste the tomato powder and you get the umami hit from that mushroom powder. I'm getting a hint of pepper, but that's because I added extra pepper. I don't think there's a lot of pepper in the rub itself, if there's any. But it's a really tasty rub and I like it a lot. It's very good, a lot of depth of flavor. The one thing that I would say about it is it's not very salty. I put a lot of that rub on this brisket and I dry brined it for 48 hours and I'm not getting enough salt. I think if I did this again, I'd probably add another layer of salt first. I'd add a layer of pepper and then I'd do the Franklin rub as sort of a finishing layer to give it that extra depth of flavor. Otherwise, really good though. Okay, now for the Goldie's brisket, I'll give this guy a slice. And I'm going to, well, I'll give you guys a look. Ooh, a little bit of food porn there. I'll give this guy a slice from the, oh my Lord, you know what? I messed that up. Jeez, moving too fast here. Okay, what I should have done is this. There we go. And I'll give that a cut. Get some tallow on there. And now let's give it a taste. Pretty excited about this. I haven't tried this rub before. Yeah. Yep. It's pretty tasty. It's good. The Goldie's rub is really good. It's a really traditional type of brisket flavor profile. You can taste the pepper, but it's pretty subdued. It's not heavy on the pepper. You could definitely taste the salt. It's got enough salt in that rub alone to just coat the brisket with that rub. You don't have to add any extra pepper or salt on the brisket. And it's got a really good depth of flavor as well. It's not as umami or citrusy or unique as the Franklin rub, but this is a really, really good rub. The other thing I noticed is it formed a little bit of a better bark. So you can see the bark there on the Goldee's. Look how beautiful that looks. So that's the Goldie's rub. And this is the Franklin's rub. So pretty similar, but the one thing I noticed is that the Goldie's rub just has a little bit more texture than the Franklin's rub, probably because the Franklin's rub is so much more finer ground. So the Goldie's kind of wins out on texture a little bit. So how do these rubs compare to each other? Well, the Franklin's rub has a really umami and citrusy flavor from the mushroom and tomato powder, which I think are amazing additions to the rub. And it also has that sort of savory taste from the celery seed, which I really like from Lowry's seasoned salt. So I think Aaron Franklin has carried over that influence from Lowry's into his own rub, because I know that he's used Lowry's in the past and he probably gets a lot of inspiration from that. Compared to the Goldie's rub, it has a little bit more complex of a flavor, a little bit more depth of flavor because of the mushroom and tomato powder and the celery seed, but it's not a complete rub, so you'll have to add your own salt and pepper first, and that might be a turnoff to some people. I'd say it's more for an experienced pitmaster who has eaten a bunch of briskets before, knows what they taste like, and wants to try something different. I definitely recommend the Franklin's for that. As for the Goldie's rub, it has a quintessential Texas-style flavor profile. It's really delicious, and it really nails the saltiness. I think because it has the table salt mixed with the flake salt in it that really hits your tongue in different ways, and it's just really delicious. In this test, I personally preferred the brisket with the Goldie's on it, but that was mainly because of the added salt, and I think if I added extra salt to the Franklin's brisket, it would have been more of a one-to-one comparison. And I would say that many of my family and friends preferred the Franklin brisket, but not because of the flavor profile, really just because it was less salty and they don't like their brisket that salty. So it just goes to show that everyone has their own preference. So in conclusion, I don't really have a favorite. I would use either one of them. They're really amazing amazing rubs, and they have enough complexity to them that they'd be very difficult to replicate at home. So I think they're definitely worth picking up and trying out for yourself, especially because Goldie's is #1, and this is the rub they're using on their brisket, so there must be something to it. And Franklin's barbecue is Franklin's barbecue, and if Aaron Franklin is using this barbecue spice rub on his brisket, there must be something to it. So I recommend you pick up both, add them to your barbecue spice rack. If you're like me, you've probably got 100 different spices on your rack, so throw it up there, try it out on your brisket, and let me know in the comments section how it tastes. I'm really interested to hear your feedback. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Happy smoking.